Hello, friends. How are you? Hope you are doing fine. I am also fine. Today, we are going to start a new chapter. What are we going to do in this chapter? First, we are going to learn word or phrase. Then, we are going to understand its meaning. Then, we will go through a single sentence using the word or phrase. So, we'll do this for 15 different words and phrases. After that, we shall go through a conversation using these words and phrases. How will this help? See, we learn words in silos. There is there are different ways of learning it, but most of them do this. They learn a word, they understand its meaning. Learn a word, understand its meaning, and then you should be able to use those words not only in sentences but also in a complete conversation. So, in this chapter today, we'll be doing that. So, what is your work? Your work is cut out. First, go through all these words, understand them, then go through the conversation. After that, have a conversation with yourself using all these words. You need to speak to yourself in English, you need to think in English, and improve your conversation skills, improve your fluency. ओके, यहाँ पे हिंदी में भी सेंटेंस का मतलब दिया गया है, बट मैं उसको नहीं पढ़ूंगा. ओके, यू कैन गो थ्रू इट इफ यू वांट. लेट अस स्टार्ट द फर्स्ट वर्ड. एंड what is the scenario? Scenario is also important. Scenario is a person is applying for leave. The person works in a bank, he goes to his manager and applies for leave. Manager refuses. He says, no, you cannot take leave during this period. So the employee has to adjust for different set of dates, for a different set of dates. Okay, so this is the scenario. Now let us start. So the first word is apply for leave. Its meaning to formally request time off from work. An example sentence, I want to apply for leave next week. ओके, छुट्टी चाहिए आपको, तो छुट्टी चाहिए तो क्या बोलेंगे? आई वॉन्ट लीव, मुझे लीव चाहिए. अप्लाई फॉर लीव, दैट इज द करेक्ट फ्रेज. आई वॉन्ट टू अप्लाई फॉर लीव नेक्स्ट वीक. Okay, so this is the first phrase. Now the second one, in the thick of. What is its meaning? In the middle of a busy or difficult time. So an example sentence, we are in the thick of the financial year end. The person works in a bank, it is March time, so he is using this phrase, we are in the thick of the financial year end. It means you are busy in something. Okay, for example, another example, that let me think, I am in the thick of practice for my dance performance. So you have a dance performance and you are in the thick of doing practice. In the thick of. Now the third phrase, personal matter. Personal matter. So कुछ ऐसी चीज जो आप सबके सामने नहीं बता सकते. Personal matter. So these are formal words or phrases that you are going to use in conversations in office. When you go to office or you go for an interview, or you are speaking with somebody like a teacher or a professor in some work related environment. These words are going to be used. Personal matter, a private reason or issue. An example sentence: it's a personal matter, so I'd prefer not to share details. So this sentence also explains the meaning. It's a personal matter, so I prefer not to share details. Okay. So in in the corporate, when you write uh, an email asking for leave, then you can say, today I am on leave for a personal matter. Today I am have to take leave in order to attend a personal emergency. Personal. So you can't tell it to everyone. Okay. Then fourth word or phrase is elaborate. What is its meaning? To explain in more detail. To explain in more detail. An example in English. Can you elaborate on that point? इसका मतलब थोड़ा और डिटेल में समझाइए. Can you elaborate on that point? So try to read this sentence and repeat this sentence. Can you elaborate on that point? Then the next one, fifth, time crunch. What is its meaning? A situation with limited time to finish tasks. Time crunch. A situation with limited time to finish tasks. We are facing a time crunch before the deadline. So this is an important phrase, time crunch. Let us say you have a deadline of finishing an assignment in college, that is say 15th of September, and on 14th of September you'll have a time crunch. There is too much to write it, not enough time, so you are having a time crunch. Correct. So next, sixth sixth one, discuss it openly. What is its meaning? To talk honestly and clearly. Discuss it openly. It's good that you discussed it openly. So now how is it used? Now there are certain situations in which you approach a teacher and say something that is not very convenient. Let us say you want to go on a family function, which happens during a uh, period of uh, submitting something, and other students are doing all the work, and you are going to take a holiday for 2 3 days. Then you approach and say that I have a family function. So what will the person on the other end respond? He will say, it's good you came and discussed it openly. That means you did not just take a leave and come later. You came ahead of time and told him. It's good you discussed it openly. This is one example. There may be other examples, valid examples, like, for example, somebody has a problem. Let us say somebody has some kind of issue. Okay, he's going through a difficult time. Let us not go. Let us take some example that is, for example, somebody has given car for servicing, and he wants a half day. So instead of going and saying that I am not well, instead of going and saying somebody in my house is not well, he goes to his manager and says that I have given my car for servicing, so can I go early? So the manager will say, it's good that you discussed it openly. Okay, this might not be a very accurate example, but you should understand what I'm trying to say. It's it's good you discussed it openly. I'm trying to take simple examples. I don't want to get into very tough examples, or I want to be politically correct also. Then the next word or phrase is professionalism. What's it meaning? Polite behavior expected from a professional. Example, she handled the situation with great professionalism. So she handled the situation with great professionalism. What kind of situation? There is some dispute in office. There is some dispute in office. There, in meeting, two people disagree with each other, and they are on the brink of having a fight. So what does the manager do? The manager gives a third solution, which both of them agree. So in that situation, you can say the manager handled the situation with great professionalism. Okay. Reschedule, to change the time of an event. Can we reschedule the meeting for tomorrow? Reschedule. For example, there is a family function. In the conversation, we are going to have this example. There is a family function, and the manager says, no, I cannot give you leave. Then he has to, the employee has to reschedule, reschedule his family function to a later date. Next word, defer, to delay something to a later time. Example, they decided to defer the project launch. Defer, you delay something. So, for example, there is an annual function. In that annual function, there are five dances. So, a person, his his number is two, but he's not ready. So, you will have to defer his performance to the end, to delay his performance. This is one example. You can think of another example. Think of your own examples and say those examples. Write those examples in the comments. Be interactive. That is the only way of improving your fluency in English. The more you speak, the more fluent you become. Understand? Same applies to me, same applies to you, same applies to everybody. Let us speak and try to become better in using this language. The next one is postpone, to delay or move something to a later time. Example, we'll have to postpone the function. Postpone the function. So this is used generally. हिंदी में भी आप यही यूज करते हैं. Next one, 11th one, make a note of it. What is its meaning? To remember or record something. Example, I'll make a note of your leave request. Make a note of it. कभी this can be used negatively also. For example, किसी को गुस्सा आ गया, बोले I'll make a note of what you have done, and I'll keep you in my bad books. नेगेटिवली हमें नहीं यूज करना. वी नीड टू गिव पॉजिटिव एग्जांपल्स. I'll make a note of your request. Leave request is used here, but maybe I'll make a note of your request for a new air conditioner. I'll make a note of your request for a better car. Then next word, in the lurch, meaning in a difficult situation without help. He left us in the lurch just before the event. यानी कोई डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन में छोड़ देना. अब जैसे कोई हिंदी पिक्चर चलता है, वहां पे दो लोग कार में जा रहे होते हैं, आर्ग्यूमेंट होता है, उसको वो छोड़ देता है, कार आगे जाती है, एक आदमी रह गया. सो ही लेफ्ट हर इन द लर्च. ठीक है, जैसे अभी यहाँ पे ही लेफ्ट अस इन द लर्च जस्ट बिफोर द इवेंट. सो लेट अस से देयर इज एन एनुअल फंक्शन अगेन, डांस परफॉर्मेंस है, वो आया ही नहीं. सो ही लेफ्ट देम इन द लर्च. बताया ही नहीं कि आने नहीं वाला. नेक्स्ट वर्ड, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. दिस इज अ वेरी कॉमनली यूज्ड वर्ड. इसका मीनिंग आपको पता होगा. A duty to take care of something. It's your responsibility to submit the report. We won't get into this more because it's a common use. Touch base. To talk briefly or check in. Let's touch base tomorrow to finalize the details. So this is used in corporates. So if you work in some IT companies, I've heard this phrase a lot. Touch base. Let's touch base on this in the next meeting. We have to touch base on this before the end of quarter. It is used in corporate life. May not be used in exams or something, but it is used in corporate life. Touch base. Handled with transparency. Managed in an open and honest way. This is also used. I have heard it a lot. Handled with transparency. The issue was handled with transparency. So in IT field, I can give you an example. For example, there is a server, it goes down, and then there is a customer has a lot of problems. It is fixed. Now, when the server was down, if 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 the IT vendor is giving good updates to the customer, then you can say the issue was handled with transparency and customer was kept informed of whatever was happening. Let us say there is a doctor and there is a patient. So if the doctor gives all details properly to the patient, that means he is handling the case with transparency. Okay, so that is an example. You think of better examples. You can think better than me. You are improving your English. I am improving my English. Okay, so what is your job now? Go through these 15 words, understand their meaning, and read the example sentences. Read it 5 times, read it 6 times. Your own, make your own examples. Okay, for these 15 words. So now friends, we will go through the conversation. आपने words, phrases और उनके meanings, words और उनके meanings देख लिए. You learned to form example sentences. Now we will go through a conversation using those uh, words. Okay, you have to have a conversation. You need to speak. So here an employee is talking with a manager. So employee says, "Good morning, sir. May I have a word with you?" Manager, "Of course. What's on your mind?" Employee, "I was hoping to apply for leave for a few days next week." See here, apply for leave is used. Manager, "Leave? You do realize we are in the thick of March closing season, right?" "Yes, sir, I am aware, but it's a personal matter that requires my attention." So, what is the scenario? An employee comes into the room and he asks for leave. So, this conversation you need to have with yourself. So, let us try. So, employee walks in. He says, "Excuse me, sir, I need to apply for leave." "Leave? Why are you asking for leave?" "We are in the thick of completing our activities for March deadline." Then employee says, "Sir, it is a personal matter. I need to apply for leave." Like this, you can talk to yourself. Okay, you don't need to use the exact same words written here. First, you read it as I read it, and then say it again yourself using an acceptable level of English. What you know, correct? Manager, can you elaborate a little? Elaborate. What does it mean? "Sure, my parents have been planning a small family function and they've asked me to be there. I have been putting it off for a while now." "I understand, but given the time crunch, I'm afraid your absence might affect the workflow." Given the time crunch, what is its meaning? Recall, tell, employee. "I completely understand, sir. That's why I am here to discuss it openly and not just drop a leave request." मैनेजर कहता है, "That's good. I appreciate your professionalism. Is there any way you could reschedule the plan?" Professionalism, reschedule. These are the words we had discussed previously. Then employee says, "Let me check with my family. Maybe I can defer it by a few days." That would be helpful. We really need all hands on deck until the end of the month. Employee says, "I can postpone my leave by 10 days if that works." That would be ideal. I'll make a note of it and we'll plan accordingly. I'll make a note of it and we'll plan accordingly. Right? So you have to use your own sentences. You do not need to use exactly the same sentences. Next, employee says, "Thank you, sir. I didn't want to leave the team in the lurch." In the lurch. What is its meaning? And I appreciate that. It shows your sense of responsibility and commitment. Employee says, "I'll make sure all my work is up to date before I go on leave." Excellent. Let's touch base again next week and finalize it. Finalize it. Touch base. What is the meaning of touch base? I have given an example. You might have said your own examples. Sure, sir. Thanks for being understanding. Anytime. It's always better when things are handled with transparency. Handled with transparency. What is its meaning? We had discussed it. So this is an example conversation. You take screenshot of it if you want, and then try to repeat it in your own words. Use the scenario. You can yourself be the employee and the manager. But remember to speak to yourself. You cannot find a partner always. That is not practical. But it's like learning dance. So you will go to some dance class in which a lot of people will be there. But dance class will be maybe 2 times a week, right? It cannot be like 7 days a week, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, 1 hour in the evening. No, you have to practice. You have to practice dance every day. You have to do some other exercises to keep fit, to maintain your fitness levels. If you only keep dancing, you will get knee pain. So you have to strengthen your muscles. It is the same way with learning English. You have to do various activities, learning phrases, learning words, conversations. These are various activities, and you have to keep doing them throughout the day. 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, 1 hour in the evening. And you have to do it with the other activity. It's not that you stop your studies and learn only English. That is not only English is not useful. There are a lot of people who speak very fluent English. However, they are not able to utilize it in because they are not accountants. They are not. They may not have a desired work profile. There are many people in English speaking countries who are poor. They can speak only in English, but they are poor. So it doesn't matter. English speaking skills have to be used, but they will help you if you have some other good skill. So don't leave that and just learn English. Okay. Continue your learning journey. Subscribe to my channel. Please like and share. Thanks. Thanks a lot.